Mark Hummel, and this is Mark Hummel's Harmonica Party, and I'm sitting here interviewing my first documentarian. But the reason I'm interviewing her is because she's done so many music films, and her most recent is with a longtime friend of mine, Barbara Dane, and that title is
The 9 Lives of Barbara Dane.
And that is playing film festivals around the world.
Yeah, film festivals and also some theatrical. We're doing our own distribution of it. Theatrically, we have a big event at the Grand Lake Theater on November 5th.
Right.
At in Oakland with young singer Miko Marks, who's going to do a performance after the film.
And the other thing I should mention is that you're very known for is your collaborations with Les Blank.
Yes.
And you have your own, since Les passed away, you started your own film company or documentary company?
I'm partnered now with a guy named Jed Reif.
Okay.
And we've worked together 16 years at least and about 9 films. He's a producer.
Okay.
And I've mostly been the editor on the Barbara Dane film. I'm the director and he's the producer.
Yeah.
But so I've had 2 really great film partners. One was Les Blank for 20 years and now Jed Reif for that many years.
And just a little bit of background on you. You're from, Michigan?
Well, I sort of lived in different places growing up and our family ended up in Toledo, Ohio, where my father sort of got out of the army and was a physician.
Right.
And he opened a private practice in Toledo, Ohio. So I was there for, a number of years in high school and stuff. But then I went to University of Michigan and for 4 years and graduated.
And your father played jazz, is that right?
My father was a wonderful piano and organ player. He played by ear. He had like 3 piano lessons in his life and he could play anything. And
wow.
He actually played the first sort of blues song I ever heard was St. Louis Blues. And he did it so wonderfully. He did it different every time. And it was my favorite song that he did. And I didn't realize that was like the keyhole into this whole world of the blues.
Blues and jazz,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it was more sort of popular type jazz.
Right.
But still, I loved it. And so he kind of exposed me to that.
And your mother was in she did some theater or something?
Yeah, she did little theater.
I'm not sure what that is. But.
Yeah, there were these, the different places that we lived, there were these, small theater companies, and she loved to, work on the sets, and I think she acted in some plays. I think she might have directed 1 or 2, and so we really did have music, culture, theater in our family, and growing up.
Yeah.
And then we had the influence of my mother's Norwegian background. She was half Norwegian. Her parents were Norwegian, so she was Norwegian, so I'm half Norwegian.
Right.
And we did have some of the traditions growing up, and I always really liked that.
Now, did she live in Canada as well?
Yeah, she was born and raised in a little town in Canada called Birch Hills.
Okay.
And we visited there a few times. And
what province was that?
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that Swedish or Norwegian people ended up in Canada.
Yeah. There were a lot of Scandinavians ending up in the west of Canada, and they had a big influence, I think, culturally.
Minnesota had that, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My grandmother came from Minnesota. So
you ended up, you sort of got familiar with music through your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get into it as a teenager at all, or?
Well, I had piano lessons. I had like 8 years of piano lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like I wasn't really going anywhere with it compared to, I'd see my dad play and I was like,
Right.
I can't do that. I can't
Right.
even come close.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't as interested. It's possible that if I had had a different teacher, like my sister had a teacher who had them play, more modern songs and stuff. If I would have realized it was a keyboard, quote unquote,
Right.
and how important it is in the music
Yeah.
context, maybe I would have been more interested. But yeah, I wasn't as interested enough to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole musical appreciation and love of music was there, and it was my father and a bunch of our other family members who were singers and piano players and so on.
And
Yeah.
you ended up going to college in Ann Arbor, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is very close to Toledo, as I
Right.
recall.
Yeah. So I got a degree in social anthropology.
Right.
But I had a boyfriend that turned me on to foreign films, and so I became obsessed with watching movies. And in Ann Arbor, there were great, little theater places you could go and see foreign films, and so I just watched them all, and never ever imagined being, that I would get into the film business.
Right.
It just wasn't something that you did in those days, especially women.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was,
And then you met Les Blank. And
At an-
basically, he opened the door for you.
right, at an anthropological film festival. His films were shown
Okay.
there, and they were so different and so poetic, and I just found them really interesting. And so I got my nerve up and talked to him briefly at a party, and because I read that his films were going to show in the Ann Arbor Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So I found reviews of the films in the Ann Arbor paper and sent them to him. And then we started up correspondence.
Yeah.
And then like 9 months later, he needed an assistant. And I sort of said, oh, okay, oh yeah, I can do that.
Right.
But I didn't know what that meant. I assumed that he would just kind of tell me what to do,
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize I was going to be a sound recordist and lug around a 25-pound tape recorder and boom, and put lavaliers on people, and it was intense.
It's major learning,
Yeah.
it sounded like.
Yeah.
Now, what movies did you send him reviews of? Was that of like the Lightning Hopkins and Mance
Lightning
Lipscomb
Hopkins,
movies?
Mance Lipscomb, and Spend It All, because those were the films that he did before I got involved.
Right, that was Flower Films.
Yeah.
Did it stay Flower Films while you were working with him?
It stayed Flower Films till sometime in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to say, it's too bad you didn't work on the Mance Lipscomb and the Lightning ones, because I would love to ask you about those.
Yeah. Well, I know about them just because of having seen them so many times and hearing Les's stories about them,
Well, I'm just curious, how did he meet Lightning? Was that through Chris or something? Chris Shockwitz?
Possibly, but he might have seen him at the Ash Grove
in
LA, in Los Angeles.
Right.
And just loved his music, and he had this young guy working with him, and the guy was able to raise some money to go shoot.
Uh-huh.
And Lightning was a little elusive, but when they started playing poker with Lightning, and Lightning kept winning, he decided that they were okay.
He liked hanging around people he could win from, yeah.
And Skip Gerson was the film partner of Les's at the time, who did the sound, and he had been a clown, so he was very funny. He was really good at putting people at ease, and Les was very laconic. He was very quiet, and so Skip kind of greased the social wheels
Uh-huh.
working when they did films together.
Now, did that kind of become your job once
Well,
you got involved?
I knew I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I just that was really not me. I was a shy, insecure 21, 22-year-old and who had never done film before. So and this was a guy 14 years older than me, and was really worldly. He drank a lot, he smoked cigarettes, and he was quiet, and it was kind of hard to, we ended up staying in Louisiana for like 2.5 months or something, shooting Dry Wood and Hot Pepper.
Right.
And it was hard. It was really hard because I didn't know how to talk to him. But we working together and staying together and all this kind of stuff. And it was, but it was sort of like, this is amazing. I cannot turn back. I mean, we were hanging out with Black French people and, going to Zydeco dances and hanging with Clifton Chenier. And
Wow.
we met Mark Savoy,
Yeah.
who was a friend of Les's. We stayed at his house, so we met all the Cajuns, and it was incredible. And it was like my anthropological quote unquote background sort of came into play, and of, interest in the culture and,
Right.
and sort of the kinds of things to focus on and so on.
It seems like that was a big emphasis for him, was kind of finding cultures that aren't as explored, and really just immersing himself.
Yeah,
in
and
that.
I mean, he had known about Les went to Tulane
Uh-huh.
in New Orleans, and so he got exposed to the culture of New Orleans, of
Right.
course. And then he I think there were he knew about Cajun culture and would go out into the countryside, and he just thought it was really interesting. And one thing that people don't really talk about as much, but I think is kind of important, he was an early Southern filmmaker. There's so many filmmakers from the coasts and the big cities, but he was
Now, was he from
Southern
down
guy.
there?
He was from Florida,
Oh,
Tampa,
okay.
Florida.
All right.
And so he was living in the South, and he had a sensibility that was different from some Northerner coming in and
Right.
trying to understand the
Right.
culture and, the
He
way-
already kind of had a bit of a grip on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had an experience of living in Kentucky as a kid,
Okay.
in Appalachia,
Interesting.
a coal mining town of Harlan, Kentucky.
Wow.
And so that really kind of came into play for me, feeling like I knew something too.
Right.
I had an understanding of I'd been living in the North, but
Kind
I
of
had
a
had this
country.
yeah, and poverty and
Sensibility.
racism
Right,
and all that,
Right.
we were living in Kentucky before integration.
Now, was Harlan, Kentucky, didn't they make a documentary about the coal mining?
Yeah, Harlan
there?
County, USA.
Harlan County, USA, right?
Yeah, so that's the same town.
Yeah,
And
wow.
we were there before that, but it was significant in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a resonance that happened when I was working with Les in the
Yeah.
South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that must have been an amazing experience, being able to spend 2.5 months in Louisiana like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
would
mean,
think.
part of we there were some, like, his camera broke down and we had to wait for his camera to be sent to LA and come back. So I think that was one of the reasons we stayed that long, was because we had to keep waiting for the camera. But also I think he wanted to go to the Jazz Fest in New Orleans at the end of our
Yeah.
shoot.
Did he end up filming any of that?
Not that year.
Your time in Louisiana, were you guys in Baton Rouge or?
No, we were in Lafayette.
Lafayette,
and
right.
Mamou and
Okay.
Eunice.
Eunice,
Eunice is where
okay.
Mark Savoy lived.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we went to New Orleans for
Yeah.
a while after that.
That must have been the great Jazz Fest back then.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was one of the early years of Jazz
Right,
Fest.
really early.
Yeah, but we got to see what's his name?
Was Clifton there?
I think probably, and also
Long hair?
probably. I remember best seeing B.B. King.
Oh, okay.
On stage.
That was an exciting place to see BB. I got to see him in New Orleans at Jazz Fest once too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the memorable things. So
the other movie early on that I know you guys did together was Burden of Dreams.
That was
Werner
later.
Herzog.
That was later,
Right.
actually.
Right.
That was more like the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some ones in between that...
Well, the Leon film.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into that big time because
you're
interviewed a lot in the book.
Yeah.
And the book we're talking about is Leon Russell, Master of Space and Time, Time's Journey Through Rock and Roll History.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of quotes in there.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah. Well, first I can tell you how we got there.
Mm-hmm.
We were headed back to LA. First, at the end of the filming of Dry Wood and Hot Pepper, which is the resulting film from the Louisiana experience, Les had to decide whether to keep me and take me with him.
Interesting. Okay.
And so finally he said, okay, I guess you can come to LA and be my assistant, editor. So, okay, we were headed to LA. We stopped at a film festival in Texas. And when we were there, Leon Russell's producer, Denny Cordell, got in touch with Les and said, we've been trying to get in touch with you because Leon Russell would like a film made. So Les said, well, we're driving across country. We could conceivably just drive up to Tulsa from here and stop and say hello and, check the scene out. So that's what we did. We ended up heading north to Tulsa, and I can't remember if we first went to the lake place or whether we met him in Tulsa. He had a recording studio that he was building.
Was that the church studio?
No, the church studio was in Tulsa.
Okay.
This was the Paradise Studio.
The one in his house or something.
No, this is the one on the lake.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
that's what
80 miles northeast of Tulsa.
Right.
In a former fishing dock.
Right.
Fishing camp. And they were still working on it. And maybe that's where we first went, because Les was all excited because he saw this lake and he loves to swim. And so, we talked to them, and Les came up with this idea. I said, well, if you could let me edit my Louisiana film here, I can shoot your film at the same time. And they agreed.
Wow.
So we never made it to LA. We literally just stopped, settled in, and Les ordered his upright moviola to be sent to Grand Lake of the Cherokees, and we set up shop on this floating motel.
Right. And did Leon live there as well?
Well, he was going back and forth between Tulsa and the lake. I mean, he was there sometimes, but he had a big mansion in Tulsa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But it sounds like, now, didn't he spend a lot of time there, though? Like recording
during that time,
jamming and all that?
A fair amount, yeah. In between tours, because he also toured.
Right.
And then he'd be gone for quite a while.
Yeah.
We wouldn't see him. But, yeah. So, he would bring other people in to record.
Yeah.
He wanted to
Were you there when Freddie King was recording for him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was really great. And I don't know if we filmed him, and I can't remember why.
Really?
Or
wow.
Maybe, we'll find out, because Herod Blank, after years and years and years of trying, managed to get the rights to the outtakes of the film.
Okay.
And they're literally going through all the footage now to see what's there. So that's kind of amazing.
So do you think those will be added to the Home as a Naked Person film?
No, they'll be a separate thing.
Separate thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be definitely separate.
Boy, that would be really fascinating to see what's on there.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I know is that there's a scene with Phoebe Snow, the singer, before she got well known.
Right.
And sitting on the floor in the recording studio singing Poetry Man with her guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was just getting started, you know, and that song was kind of getting some legs. And so she stopped in and was there.
Yeah, it seems like Leon Russell had a lot to do with other people's, starts.
That was one of his really great qualities, I think. And it really comes out in the book.
Yeah, sure does.
And how good he was at producing other people.
Right.
And
Yeah. What was your take on Leon?
Well, he was kind of, to me, he was a little intimidating, and I think that was a common reaction to him.
Yeah.
And in the book, it talks about maybe he had some, maybe he was like bipolar or something.
Right.
So that would explain some things,
Mm-hmm.
Because he wasn't like really warm, super friendly. But I just was amazed watching him do stuff because he was super creative.
Yeah.
And and the ideas he came up with for songs and stuff, and working with people and adding touches here and there, getting people the performers to.
Pretty genius type stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And was that the beginning of Shelter Records when you guys were there?
Yeah. It was. They were in L.A., but they, his recordings were on Shelter.
Yeah, but were a lot of the recordings done at the lake?
Yeah, he did Carney. He did. Let's see, what other albums were at that time? Hank Wilson's Back. No, that was Nashville.
Okay.
But that was one. That
were you guys part of that? Did you go along?
That was a biggie. Yes, we filmed with 2 cameras a whole recording session of Hank Wilson's Back, and it was made in 3 days.
Wow.
And it was amazing. The music was amazing. It was crazy. It was very crazy, the dynamics of things going on. But Leon was just so thrilled to be working with a lot of the guys that had performed on some of the original songs that he was recording.
Right.
And they got a kick out of him.
I bet.
Yeah, they really got a kick out of him.
Didn't he get really close with Willie Nelson? Was that during that same time?
Yeah, he got close with Willie Nelson. Yeah. He was George Jones came in.
I heard George Jones in that book.
Yeah, and Johnny Cash. Well, he ended up doing a video shoot at Johnny Cash's studio.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't think Johnny Cash was there, but that was a separate time, and that was a video shoot. And Willie Nelson was there, Roy Acuff, Ernest Tubb.
Jeez. It's incredible.
Yeah, Jeannie Pruitt. Anyway, these luminaries.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Ernest Tubb. Scruggs.
Yeah, Earl Scruggs.
Earl Scruggs, I think, was there. Anyway, that was a whole other thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, I know that Leon and Les I think Leon got a view of Les that kind of turned him off about his drinking or something. Yeah.
Right. I think ultimately we didn't realize that was part of the problem of why he ended up not releasing the film after 2 years.
Right.
We didn't know. He never told us what the problem was.
Right.
Just suddenly he decided not to release the film after we'd been, working on it.
And you were there how long? 2 years?
2 years.
Wow.
And we did finish Dry Wood and Hot Pepper, editing it, so we were able to do what we said we were going to do. And I mean, the reason that we were able to shoot and finish the film in 2 years is because they were paying for it.
Right.
These days, it takes years and years because you have to raise the money, and it's done a little bit here, a little bit there. But it was so nice to have, the budget is all taken care of.
And the budget was through Leon?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were paying for the film. Right. So I think, especially after reading the book, I suspect he would have liked to have a little bit more about what he had done before and how, some of his background.
So you're saying that wasn't in the film?
No, it's not in the film at all.
I did see the film, and I remember I thought that was very strange.
Yeah.
That there was so little attention paid to his history.
Right. Yeah. And
that was very strange.
I don't think Les really knew that much about it, and I mean we did. I certainly didn't.
I'm surprised he didn't bother to find out.
Right.
You'd think if you're making a film about somebody, you'd want to go through that.
Right. Yeah. So, well, I mean, part of it was because they started out on fairly decent footing, but then it sort of degenerated over the months. And so it was hard to, I mean, Les wouldn't even sit down and talk very much to Leon to, ask him stuff. So,
sounds like it was two people that were not really suited to each other's personalities in a sense. Yeah. Because Leon doesn't sound like he was a very easy guy to really communicate with either.
Right. Yeah. Right. So the combination.
Right. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though when they started out, there was one night when I just had the tape recorder running and they were jiving back and forth with each other, and it was funny and interesting. Like it shows up in the short that I did.
Oh, okay.
Out in the Woods. It's on the Criterion box set.
All right.
They sang "Row, Row, Row Your Boat" together. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And they sound a little drunk, and anyway.
Yeah.
So it was really sad that relationship kind of fell apart, because we got kicked off the project more than one time, and then kept getting asked back because they would see the footage and say, "Oh my God, this is great stuff."
Really?
Yeah. And so I think part of it was because Leon really thought it was too much about just Les instead of about him.
So in other words, the focus was not enough out of Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not his focus, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit of a rambling film.
Yeah.
That's
but it's kind of stream of consciousness, and it's really an experiential film about the times.
Right.
So there's some amazing stuff in it.
Yeah.
And about the.
And it does have stuff of him on the road, as I recall.
Yeah. And great performances of his music. I mean, just wonderful performances.
Yeah.
So, he comes off very well.
Yeah.
And so when it premiered after Les passed away, like 3 years afterwards at the South by Southwest.
And that was through his son, correct?
Les's son Herod courted Leon for a year or two, and after Les died, and convinced him to release the film 40 years after. Right. And it premiered at South by Southwest, and Leon was there, and he was like really nervous because he was worried that people wouldn't like it, and they loved it.
Wow.
And they loved him. Yeah. And so it sort of softened him up.
Now, were you there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What was it like seeing Leon after all that time?
It was pretty interesting.
Was it?
Yeah. Enough time had gone by that both of us, were more mature. And his wife was really great. Yeah. They'd been together for a long time, and so we got along with her. Even though I didn't talk to him that much, it just, he was on a scooter. He was, kind of disabled, and but still playing music, still doing concerts, and so we were starting to have fun going around with the film, and Herod was all ready to take him all over the place and have him perform with the film, and then he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he died right after the first election of the current president.
Right.
And his wife thinks that he just kind of gave it up.
I think I'm starting to feel like that about a lot of people.
Yeah.
Including my parents and Barbara. And
yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Do I really want to be in this world?
Yeah. Things are not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a show with Leon one time that he was on a little festival we were on, and he stayed in his trailer the whole time. He had the little motorized scooter, and he did a one-man show, and it was kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch the show. I kind of ended up leaving because I heard these strange kind of keyboard sounds coming out of the club, and I thought,
know.
This is the same Leon Russell I knew.
The effects that he put on his piano. I just want to hear your piano.
I know.
I don't want to hear sort of, I don't know what it was that he was doing.
He kind of got into keyboards that didn't sound like keyboards after a while.
Right.
And they talk about that in the book, which I thought was really interesting.
Oh.
Or maybe I'm thinking of the film, the promo for the making of the Leon Elton.
Right.
Album.
John film.
And they talked about that in there.
Oh, that's possible.
Yes, because he wasn't used to playing on a real piano anymore. So, yeah, that was an interesting story, too.
Yeah.
So, well, that's quite the story. And eventually they did, his son, Les's son did get it put out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason that I was able to be interviewed for the book and be able to tell stories the way I did is because I had these letters that I wrote to my parents and my best girlfriend.
Wow.
And so they were like first person, a 22-year-old's reaction to what was going on.
That's interesting.
And apparently some of the stuff I told the writer really filled in some blanks.
I bet.
So that was pretty great.
Well, you were living there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Right. Yeah. So
were there a lot of parties and stuff like that at the time?
Well, whenever anybody would come in to record, it was usually pretty festive, I guess you'd say. But they were also working, and they'd work all night long. Mm-hmm. And that meant that we were editing all night long, and so we were sort of on the same.
Was that when Gary Busey was on the scene, or was he later?
I don't know. I don't remember meeting him or seeing him.
Because I know they were big pals.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I found the book fascinating. I thought your commentary was really interesting in that.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So, so you what other famous film documentaries were there between the Leon one and
Burden of Dreams?
Yeah, Burden of Dreams.
Chulas Fronteras.
Okay. And
Texas
that was
Mexican Border Music.
Right.
With Chris Strachwitz.
Right.
Of Arhoolie Records.
Did he kind of get Les into that?
Yeah. He saw what Les did with the blues guys.
Right.
And he wanted Les to do the same thing with the Texas Mexican Border guys.
Interesting.
Because he was in love with that music.
I know he was. Yeah.
And he just thought, well, Les is the one that has to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Chris's style was a little, Chris was more like setting up the musicians, getting them to perform, which was really different from the way Les usually did it. He would usually just, come upon a party and there are these guys playing, and then he would start filming. So it was more setting things up, and so the style was not quite what Les was used to or interested in, but he did all the other stuff that he was so good at, filming the parties and the contexts and the landscape and all the beautiful stuff around and all the cultural images and the people's faces and stuff like that. So
and where were you guys filming?
Well, I was not on that shoot.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were in San Antonio and some border towns, and I guess mainly
San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was Chris part of that? Was he there?
Oh yeah, he was. He did the sound.
Okay.
Yeah. yeah. So it was Les and Chris.
Yeah.
So I just came in as an assistant,
Right.
and that's how I ended up eventually moving to Berkeley.
Aha.
Was Les got in touch with me to come and be an assistant on that film.
Okay.
Yeah.
And didn't Les have his offices at Down Home?
Yeah.
Right.
So Chris Strockwitz had a building with a record store called Down Home Music, and he had Arhoolie Records in the back of the building, and there was space enough for Les to have Flower Films upstairs, to set up shop, set up the editing machine there. So Les moved from LA to Berkeley
Oh, interesting.
during that time.
Okay. All right.
And then stayed.
I didn't know he was working out of LA prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because he went back to LA after the Leon film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how many other films did him and Chris do together? Any others?
Well, J'étais au bal. I went to the dance, the Cajun Zydeco music film.
Okay.
Yeah, and Del Metro Corazon was made from the outtakes from Chulas Fronteras, and Les wasn't interested in doing another film. So, but Chris wanted to do something with some of the great songs that were left over from Chulas and some of the scenes. And so I said, I'll do it. And so years later, I kind of look back and say that I really directed the film because I sort of, had got the idea that there were mostly love songs that were left over and, the context for the love songs. And so that one. And then I guess it was mainly those three. Chris was always around, and we would consult him on stuff.
Sure. Burden of Dreams, I think I've seen it, but it's been years.
Oh.
And so you'll have to refresh my memory on some of it. And I can't remember if I've seen Fitzcarraldo or not. I think I have. Mm-hmm. But tell me how you guys got involved in that one.
Well,
Werner Herzog.
Yeah. We used to go to the Pacific Film Archive a lot in Berkeley, which is a great place to see foreign films and classic films. The guy that ran it was named Tom Luddy, and he was this incredible, I don't know what you call him, he knew all the directors internationally, so he would bring in these folks to do Q&As at the screenings. Mm-hmm. So one of the people that he brought in was Werner Herzog, and he had a feeling that Werner and Les would like each other. So sure enough, they met, and Les really was intrigued by Werner's films, and Werner saw some of Les's films, and he really thought they were great. And Les recorded we did a book called The Burden of Dreams book, that included our journals and some letters that Werner Herzog wrote. And then, but Les wrote that we had dinner with Werner at the Telluride Film Festival one year. And during that dinner, Les told him that if he ever wanted somebody to make a film about the making of one of his films, to let him know. Mm-hmm. So about a year later, Werner got in touch and said, Les Blank is the only person who can make this film. So we had to decide whether we were going to go to the jungle with what we wondered. And, we heard these crazy stories about Werner, about jumping into cactus and swimming in rivers with piranhas and doing all this crazy stuff. We had to decide, do we want to do this?
Right.
What are we getting ourselves into?
Yeah.
Well, there were sort of, it's sort of like it was getting paid for. It was a chance to go to the jungle. And we were
this in South America?
Oh yeah, in Peru.
Okay.
In the Peruvian Amazon. And I was intrigued by the idea that there would be native people involved in the film. Mm-hmm. And it was sort of like one of those things where you can say, how could I not do this?
Right. How could you turn it down?
Yeah, how could you turn this down? It was too wild.
Mm-hmm.
So, and both Les and I were adventurous enough that we thought, okay, here we go. So we ended up being there 3.5 months, 2 different trips. The first trip was for 1 month in the northeast of Peru in the Aguaruna tribal territory, and they did not like Werner being there. And so pretty much the whole time we were there filming, Werner trying to prepare to do the film, he was wrangling with the local native people about, trying to convince them that he was okay, that he wasn't going to do any harm, that the people were going to get paid. They just didn't like it. They saw him as being an outsider and, coming in with an all-male team, and it reminded them of military, of gold miners coming in that were, stealing their resources. And so they kicked him out. And
wow,
we missed the actual moment when that happened, but they ended up burning down the film camp that Bernard built.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whoa.
and some crew members were still there, and they just kind of split out, got out of there. But it was devastating to Werner because he just had to start all over again and find another location, and to this day, I mean, I started talking to him a little bit about it, and he just was like, he's still traumatized by it.
Werner?
Yeah, the fact that he had to start all over again, and then. So we had to wait for him to find another location and figure out what to do and what star he was going to have to play Fitzcarraldo. So he had Jason.
So did he lose his entire cast?
Well, I can't remember who he had lined up at that point, but I think.
And Klaus Kinski's the one that ended up.
Right.
Playing it, yeah.
But that was
later.
He started in the new location. He started out with Jason Robards
as
Fitzcarraldo and Mick Jagger playing Fitzcarraldo's sidekick, and they shot a bunch of film.
So those guys were there.
Yeah, they were there. We weren't there yet. But. By the time we got there, it had already blown up, and Jagger dropped out. Jason Robards got amoebic dysentery, and his doctors wouldn't let him go back.
Oh, my God.
And Werner had to start all over again to find a new star and reshoot stuff.
So were you guys able to get some of that on film?
No.
Yeah.
We didn't. We were not there.
You have the story in there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we got there about the same time as Kinski showed up. So we followed him around a bit, and he was the crazy one.
Was he? That's what I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, so Werner, I kept being surprised that Werner was kind of mellow and not yelling at people and not, being loud and stuff with the cast and stuff. He was very nice and, very genial with the actors and stuff and the native people, and so it was Kinski that would flare up every once in a while.
Now, where did they end up moving to after the first debacle?
To the foothills of the Andes, also in the jungle, but it was kind of nice because it was cooler there.
Yeah,
it wasn't as hot, and that really helped. And
so was no image. None of the images from the first.
I don't think so. In fact,
version.
I think Werner burned the footage, which is like, come on.
Wow.
When he was making some film much later, when he wanted some clips from his own film, we were the only one that had a couple scenes of Robards and Jagger, and so he got it from us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And what was that like?
Which?
The Jagger and Robards footage.
Oh, it's totally different from Kinski.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
and a couple people said, well, Jagger should have been playing Fitzcarraldo. I mean, you'd believe that guy would be passionate about an opera house because he was a musician, right?
Right.
And he did a good job in Werner's film. The little bit that we just got a little
That
clip
you
ourselves.
saw,
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so we were there for 2.5 months, and it was quite something. I mean, you can see in the film all the craziness and we did.
And he built the boat. Did he build the boat, or was that
He built
something?
one boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had. There were 3 boats. There was a really old one that was kind of rusting on the shore.
Right.
That he filmed a little bit in, and then there was another full ship, and then he built another lookalike.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were really beautiful. They
Yeah.
were really cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 1880s boats or something. Yeah. So basically, your film was about the making of this film.
Right.
And the craziness with Klaus Kinski and him and Warner battling back out,
A little
back
bit.
at each other.
Yeah. And then just all the circumstances that made
Right.
the film difficult.
Yeah.
Because
Sounds like
everything from rain to boats getting stuck on sandbanks to all kinds of stuff. I mean, and his engineer quitting and not wanting to build the steep incline for the
that they try to
boat.
bring the boat up. Yeah.
The guy didn't think that he could do it without hurting people, and he didn't want to be part of that. This guy, Laplace Martins from Brazil. And so Werner had to get another engineer, and
And they were able to film that part?
Yeah, they did. And excuse me, we missed it. It was sort of like our film was running out, and we had no idea how long it was going to take for them to get the ship up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And we just couldn't wait and wait and wait and wait.
Yeah. How long did it end up taking? Do you know?
It wasn't that much longer. Just, several weeks, I think.
Yeah.
So, but we had to use his footage in our film to show it actually reaching the top of the mountain.
What a story.
Yeah. And now Les Blanc's son Herod spent a couple of years restoring Burden of Dreams, and so it is pristine visually, all the dust is gone, and recolor corrected, and the soundtrack is fantastic. The guy literally went back to the original 1/4-inch tapes, digitized them all, and recut the sound.
Wow.
And found original recording, records and that he could use to make stereo, and he had made it into 5.1 surround sound.
So it sounds like his son has gotten very into the filmmaking process.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
restoration part.
Yeah.
Yep. He's doing all the films.
So what was the last film you did with Les?
I can't remember if it was the Maestro King of the Cowboy Artists, possibly. I edited.
And who is that? Who is that about?
It's about this guy named Jerry Gaxiola, and we just lost him a couple months ago. One of our wonderful friends and characters. He actually lived in Albany, California, and was an artist who never sold his work. Incredibly prolific, super creative. He took everything he touched, he turned it into something. I mean, he made cowboy suits. He embroidered cowboy shirts. He made boots. He painted paintings. He did oils. He did watercolors. He did block prints. He did. He sculpted. He he made his own paint box with his monogram on it. He made his own easel to paint from. I mean, he was unbelievable. And so it started out, when we first met him, he was doing these kids shows at Albany High School where he would have his art, but then he would do these songs, and do rope tricks for the kids and stuff. And his wife made all these cookies, and everybody loved Alice's cookies. So when we first met him, we thought he was sort of like a, just kind of a character and not too serious. But the more we got to know him, the more we realized how incredibly creative he was and how sophisticated he was in his thinking and his what he did. He ended up challenging Christo, the artist that does the big landscape.
Right.
And when Christo had these umbrellas in the landscape down in Southern California, near where the maestro was from, he wanted to challenge Christo, and so he was all set to use paintballs and shoot the umbrellas because he always dressed as a cowboy. He always had cowboy suits on and stuff. And Les and his wife talked him out of shooting the umbrellas. They thought there would be an incident if this guy shot the umbrellas.
Get arrested,
Right.
Yeah.
And so what he did instead was he made all these paintings of him shooting the umbrellas and the umbrellas wilting with blood dripping and he made these wonderful sculptures of the wilted umbrellas and the little cowboy, shooting paintball. It's just incredible. Yeah, and he just passed away. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
And what happened to Les Blank? Did he get cancer or something? How did he pass away?
Yeah, he had bladder cancer.
Bladder cancer. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a deadly one.
Yeah. And he didn't catch it early enough, and then he didn't want to do the chemo because it was
so tough. Yeah.
So tough that he just kind of
just said that's it.
That's it. Yeah. No, that was quite a rough stretch.
Now you also are the one that filmed "This Ain't No Mouse" music. That was yours, right?
Yeah, me and Chris Simon.
You and Chris.
Yeah,
okay.
Chris Simon was. Yeah,
okay.
She was Les's wife for quite a while, and she was our film partner. She did a lot of producing for Les, actually, fundraising, and she did some sound. She did some editing, and so at one point we looked around and said, "Hey, Chris Strachwitz, he's worthy of a film."
Yeah.
And so I approached Chris with it at one point, and he just was like, no, you don't know. It was just like,
right.
Right. And then, about a year after I did that, there was he said, "Oh, there are these people from PB who are gonna want to do a film about me, and they said that they can get it on PBS, and I'm supposed to sign a contract with them." And I said, "No, you can't. I stopped him.
Good for you.
I stopped him.
Yeah.
I said, "Chris and I want to make a film about you.
Yeah.
We know you. We know your whole scene.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can't get somebody else to do it."
No.
And so he kind of sat back and he thought about it for not that long.
Yeah.
And he said, "Okay, all right.
We're good."
We're good." So
you guys ended up getting it on PBS regardless. So.
Well,
Didn't you?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I thought I saw it on PBS.
No, not This Ain't No Mouse music.
Really? What did I see that on?
I don't know.
It was on television. I thought maybe I'm screwed up. Maybe I watched it on Netflix or something. I mean on YouTube.
It was on in the early days of Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw it on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
but
could be.
then
But I think it is on YouTube. You can buy it on YouTube, as I recall.
You
Can't
can.
you?
Now it's in the Criterion collection.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Of. I think that's
Yeah.
what I'm getting confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah. Anyway, so that was a massive undertaking because talk about archive. I mean, Chris had thousands of photographs,
Right.
tons of videos, tons of recordings, and all his stories and all the different styles of music that he recorded.
Yeah.
And so it was a real challenge to figure out how
Yeah.
to weigh each one and which artists were needed to be focused on, and
Right.
how to get certain other ones in there even if we couldn't spend time with them. And
Yeah.
anyway, so we were finishing that right when Les was dying, basically.
Yeah.
So Chris was living here helping take care of Les. So it meant that we were at least able to work together because she lives in Salt Lake City.
Aha. Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Now, were they still married or not?
They were not married.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they were still, very close.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So we got to go to San Antonio with Chris, and New Orleans, and Cajun country, and Appalachia, and then a lot in Berkeley. And, yeah, so, and it was really fun. It was fun traveling with him. I mean, for the most part, he gave us a hard time at one point because of some clause in the contract that we'd written up with him, and he just was so stubborn about one line, and it was very contentious, and it went on and on and on, and we couldn't convince him, and finally he gave in, and then when the film came out, we got to go on the road to film festivals, have screenings, and he was very happy.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and we had.
You guys made a lot of noise with
wonderful
that
time.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys did get a lot of attention.
Yeah. So, so that was co-directed and with Chris Simon. And then you probably don't know about my film Blossoms of Fire that I directed.
I don't think I do.
It started with this woman, Ellen Osborne, and it was the first film I did away from Les. But it was 16 millimeter in the late 90s, which is when there was a big transition to digital.
Okay.
And I just really wanted to pay respects to this community in Mexico by using 16 instead of just, at the time, video was kind of funky.
Right.
And I just thought these people deserve to have a beautiful, film. So it was this community in Mexico called the Zapotecs of southern Oaxaca that have a reputation of being a matriarchy. And so we filmed for a month and or altogether maybe 6 weeks, and had this great crew from Mexico that shot it and did the sound, and local people were our assistants, totally helped us, and that became an incredibly important community that I still have a relationship with the people, and they ended up loving the film when it was finished. It's full of their music. I tried to get all the real variety of the music that they have there, from their bandas to their trios to their fife and drum to marimbas, you know, and so my favorite thing is editing music.
That's great.
And so that film has that, and
that's why we're doing this.
Yeah. yeah. So it's kind of like what has, any film I do, I need to have great music in it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I met you through Barbara. As I recall, when I found out you were doing a documentary on Barbara Dane, that's how we met. And I'm just curious about how I assume you met Barbara Dane through Chris, is that right? Chris Drawkwitz?
Yeah. Interestingly, we found out that, actually I think let me move over a little bit here.
Okay.
Might have to edit. I learned that Barbara and Chris met each other even before Chris started Unruly Records.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just kind of kept up with each other.
Right.
And Chris went to her, I think he made it to her club, Sugar Hill, in
Right.
61.
Yeah.
And certainly they were around a lot of the same musicians, especially the
Yes.
blues musicians together.
Yes.
And so Chris would have these parties twice a year, once celebrating his birthday and Uncle Sam's,
Right.
and then at Christmas.
Right.
And Barbara Dane was always at the parties.
Mm-hmm.
So she would jam with musicians that were there, and it was always really fun to hear her.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that she was somebody, but I didn't know anything about her. And I didn't really, I didn't really ask Chris. I don't know why, but tell me something about Barbara Dane. So I'd heard that her daughter had been wanting to do a film about her for a long time, trying to find someone to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And Barbara had an album coming out at the age of 89 that she did with Tammy Hall called Throw It Away.
Right.
And Nina needed somebody to do a promo video for it.
Yeah.
So I figured I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sure enough, I edited this promo piece, and it's like, oh, Pete Seeger. Oh, Louis Armstrong. Oh.
Pretty impressive.
All these people she was hanging out with and performing
impressive.
with. It was
Yeah.
like, wow, I didn't know this about her.
Right.
And so when she had her record release concert at Yoshi's Jazz Club in Oakland, it was sort of like, okay, we better film this because it might be the last time she performs. Who knows? And so my friend Jed got involved. We put together a camera team to shoot the concert and did a little bit of backstage filming with her, and were so impressed that it was like, maybe we should make a film. Maybe, and so actually as soon as Jed got interested, I figured I could do it because I knew that I was going to be director, and
Right.
I hadn't done that by myself really, because I've always had a woman film partner. And so we started shooting. We did some interviews. We did an interview with her and Pablo, her son. And then I was able to come up with some funding for us to go to Cuba with Barbara and Nina when they were visiting Pablo Menendez, her brother,
Right.
musician, in Havana for Christmas and New Year's. And Barbara had also gotten invited to perform this big concert at the Casa de las Americas on the 50th anniversary of when she did it
Right.
there the first time. So we got a great film crew together, four or five cameras, multi-track taping of this great concert, just wonderful concert that Barbara did with Pablo and some of his band members. Tammy Hall came down, Ruth Davies came down, and Barbara's grandson Osamu came from Miami.
Right.
So it was this fantastic concert, and I actually edited the concert into a piece, an hour piece that's been shown on Cuban TV a bunch of times. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the beginning, and then we started in sort of mid 2016 and finished the film in 2023. So it took a long time.
Yeah.
Mainly because of fundraising, getting the money, and then also because we were finishing this other film that was taking forever.
Right.
So,
and that was the film about the town in Mexico?
No, this was another one for another director
Oh,
that I edited
okay.
about, it's a whole story, the Pleistocene Park, about this Russian scientist and his son who are trying to restore the Ice Age mammoth steppe ecosystem in northeast Siberia by bringing in large herbivores to try to help mitigate melting permafrost.
Wow.
That's a wild film. I could
Sounds like
tell
it.
you stories about that one.
Your
So
second
that was-
burden of dreams, almost.
It was, yes. And I mean, I didn't go there.
Yeah.
I just edited it. But that's what we were doing in between, you know, filming Barbara.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you were able to come up with some pretty good funding for the Barbara film?
Yeah, ultimately we did. We had this major funder that just totally helped out. And then a lot of the funding, most of the funding was from private individuals, actually.
Right.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I hadn't
You had
really
some
had
kind of
that.
famous people, as I recall, that were chipping in on it. Is that right?
Well, I mean, we had executive producer Danny Glover, but
Right. Did
he didn't really
chip
give
in
it.
money or not?
No,
really?
it mainly his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just
so-
an in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so that one, we filmed Barbara performing in at Royce Hall in UCLA in LA.
Right.
Yoshi's in Oakland, SF Jazz
Right.
in San Francisco, Freight and Salvage in Berkeley, Joe's Pub in New York City, and Casa de las Americas in Havana. So those are all the
quite a range of
right.
venues that you were able
Especially
to get. And cities.
Yeah, especially her doing it at
Yeah.
her age.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of them were sort of celebrating her 90th birthday.
Right. Right.
So-
And she made it to 97, is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And Nina Menendez, her daughter, who was a was executive producer on the film, was our film partner in Protesta Productions. And she had a list of what she wanted to do to preserve Barbara's legacy. She has this entity called the Barbara Dane Legacy Project, and she wanted to produce these concerts, put out a CD, double CD set on Smithsonian Folkways,
And she did
do the
that, didn't
film, and what was the other? Oh, and get Barbara's autobiography published.
she? Right.
So those are her four main goals, and she did all of them.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
And did them while she was ill.
While she was,
Yeah.
going through
Massive
chemo
Yeah.
and
Right.
terminal cancer
Yeah.
struggles, and then she finally passed away
Yeah.
a few months ago.
But it's pretty amazing
Yeah.
what she pulled off. And you guys did a great film.
Thank you.
I wish you would have interviewed me.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because we went way back. I saw a lot of amazing things with Barbara.
Yeah.
She was really quite a person.
Yeah. Well, we missed some things.
Yeah. But
For
you
sure.
got a great film out of it.
Great.
You did.
Thanks.
So do you have any upcoming things that you're working on right now? Or
Well, just getting this one out in the world.
Right.
And that's a lot of work because, you work on something for 7 years. You don't want it to just sit there.
Right.
We're,
The big thing I'm assuming is distribution.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
just
we're working on PBS, seeing if we can get it on there. And, we'll want it to have some educational distribution. And we're doing a little bit of theatrical with it, DIY ourselves right now. And then, so that's a big thing. And then sort of trying to make sure that my own stuff is preserved and getting out there, and including Blossoms of Fire, the one in Mexico, which hasn't been in distribution for years. And
when did you film that?
that was in the 90s.
Yeah.
We filmed it in 94 and finished in 2000. And it did pretty well. And then we got distribution with New Yorker Films, and they were doing great with it, but then they folded.
Oh, boy.
And so it hasn't been distribution for quite a while. And,
Yeah.
and it really needs to get into, educational and, women's departments and Latin American studies and indigenous studies. And, it just, there's a lot of potential for it.
How difficult is the Smithsonian as far as getting films in there?
Well, they don't really do distribution.
I mean, I know they don't do distribution, but will they preserve it at least? Is there?
I don't think so. I mean, they don't do films so much.
Right.
I don't think.
Okay.
That I'm aware of.
Yeah.
They do recordings.
Now, how about Criterion?
Well, we'll try them.
Yeah. Because they did do the Mouse music one, right?
And they've done all of Les's films.
Oh, they have.
Herod succeeded in getting all the films in there.
And so Poem as a Naked Person is
in there too.
through there. Okay.
So for anybody that wants to watch Les playing films, go to the Criterion Collection.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they're all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say are the real highlights as far as your documentary filmmaking experiences?
Well, there have been so many. I mean, meeting the people, being in these cultures I would never have been in otherwise, and falling in love with the people and learning about the cultures and the music has been delightful.
Yeah.
And being able to be friends with the people still, and feeling like it's this extended family. Like I have these really good friends in Juchitán, Oaxaca, Mexico.
Wow.
That I'm still friends with. And one of the women is a singer, and she's come up here and performed at the Guelaguetzas in Santa Rosa and LA and Fresno and San Jose, and she's wonderful, Marta Toledo. And then I have a possible idea to do another film there, just as a Juchitán 25 years later or whatever, an update, because it's changed so much, and it would be about my relationship with the people and stuff. So that's one idea that I have. So so it's been the people and always and constantly learning. I mean, with editing new films, you have to learn enough about what you're editing to be able to make sense of it.
Right. That makes
sense.
sense.
It's constant learning.
Yeah.
And which is great. Yeah. And then, hearing all this great music.
Was the Barbara film pretty difficult editing wise, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was challenging for sure because we had a lot of stuff. Yeah. And we had all that archival.
I was really impressed with what you came up with there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Nina had saved all of Barbara's stuff, and Barbara, I still don't know how Barbara saved all the stuff from her childhood because she moved around all the time.
Right.
Well, I don't know how maybe your mom was taking care of it or something.
I guess so. Yeah. There's some great photos in the film.
Yeah. And
a lot of stuff I'd never seen, and I've seen quite a bit. So,
and most, I would say 90% of it was stuff that Nina had. Yeah. But there were a couple things that we found, like this footage from East Germany we found.
Wow.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the Cuba footage.
The Cuba footage was really we were able to get the good quality version of it. Yeah, that protest gathering in Havana. Beautiful stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Maureen.
Oh,
it was
welcome.
A pleasure.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you've done great work, and you got some amazing stories as a result.
Great. Well,
so
thank you for having me.
Yeah.